The first time the scanners glitched, I thought it was just bad calibration. Deep space research stations are notorious for phantom readings, ghost radiation, stray magnetics, the occasional cosmic ray punching holes in sensor arrays. Nothing unusual about it. But this wasn't a glitch. It was me. I was stationed aboard the orbital platform Helios Array, suspended above the quiet gas giant of Orpheon 3. Our job was simple: monitor gravitational anomalies in the region and catalog any unusual transmissions. The region had been empty for centuries. Then something answered. The signal arrived without warning, narrowband, structured, intentional. It didn't match any known language, but it wasn't random noise either. It pulsed in a pattern so mathematically precise that it couldn't be natural. The rest of the crew rushed to analyze it. I froze, because the pattern felt familiar. Not in a conscious way. More like déjà vu. Like hearing a melody you don't remember learning. "Aaron, you seeing this?" Commander Sato asked. "Yeah," I said, forcing my voice steady. "It's clean. Too clean." The signal repeated every 90 seconds. Same structure. Same cadence. And every time it did, my skin tingled. At first, I blamed stress. Too many hours. Not enough sleep. But when I stepped closer to the main console, the holographic waveform shifted, just slightly. It aligned with my heartbeat. To the arrival. 3 days later, the alien ship arrived. It didn't warp in with flare or distortion. It simply appeared, like it had been there all along, and we'd only just noticed. Long, angular, silver-black, reflecting the stars like liquid metal. No visible weapons. No visible engines. Just presence. The signal stopped the moment it entered orbit. Helios Array went into emergency protocol. Defensive grids powered up. Transmission channels opened. "Unknown vessel," Commander Sato broadcast. "You are entering restricted Terran space. Identify yourself." Silence. Then a pulse of light rippled across the alien hull. And every screen in the station flickered. The waveform returned, but stronger. Clearer. The pattern shifted again. And my chest tightened. It wasn't syncing to my heartbeat anymore. It was syncing to my thoughts. Images flashed behind my eyes. A desert of violet sand. A sky with 3 moons. A city grown from crystalline towers. I staggered back from the console. "Aaron." Sato asked sharply. "What's wrong?" "They're not broadcasting," I whispered. "They're searching." "For what?" "For me." 3. The secret I buried. There are things you don't tell anyone. Not your commanding officer. Not your friends. Not even yourself. I was 7 when it first happened. I had fallen into the frozen lake near our colony settlement on Europa Prime. The ice cracked beneath me. I remember the shock of cold, the suffocating dark, and then light. Not from above, from within. The water around me glowed faintly, warmed. The ice sealed itself long enough for me to crawl out. My parents called it a miracle. Doctors called it a stress-induced hallucination. I called it something else. Impossible. As I grew older, it happened again, small incidents. Electronics flickering when I panicked. Metallic objects humming faintly when I touched them too long. I learned to suppress it. Control it. Hide it. By the time I joined the Terran Science Corps, I had convinced myself it was coincidence. Overactive imagination. Until the alien signal arrived. And it recognized me. 4. First contact. The alien ship extended a narrow beam of light toward the station's docking ring. Boarding attempt. Sato demanded. "No," I said quietly. Invitation. The beam solidified into a bridge. Against every protocol, I stepped forward. "You are not authorized," Sato began. They didn't come for Earth, I interrupted. They came for me. Silence fell over the command deck. Aaron, she said carefully, what are you talking about? I don't know, I admitted, but I need to. Before she could stop me, I crossed the light bridge. The transition felt like stepping through warm water. On the other side, gravity shifted subtly, lighter, but stable. The interior of the alien ship was seamless and organic. No visible panels. No harsh edges. The air shimmered faintly, and then I saw them. The alien stood at the center of the chamber. Tall. Slender. Skin like polished obsidian threaded with glowing veins of blue light. Their eyes were luminous, no pupils, just soft radiance. Not threatening. Curious. You respond, the alien said. The voice echoed directly in my mind. You speak English? I asked aloud. I speak resonance, they replied. Your cognition translates. You sent the signal. Yes. For me? Yes. I swallowed. Why? The alien tilted their head slightly. Because you are not what you believe yourself to be. The revelation. The alien introduced themselves as Caliph of the Vayari confluence. Their species, they explained, were explorers, not of space alone, but of evolution. They studied worlds where genetic anomalies hinted at dormant potential. Your species is young, Caliph said, but not untouched. Untouched by what? By us. The word hung heavy in the chamber. You altered humanity. I demanded. Not humanity. You. My stomach dropped. Thousands of your cycles ago, Caliph continued, a Vayari expedition encountered early human life. A fragment of our genetic matrix was left behind. An accident? A seed. I felt the hum in my chest intensify. You're saying I'm what? Hybrid. Partially attuned. To what? To energy beyond your electromagnetic spectrum. Suddenly, every strange incident in my life snapped into focus. The lake, the flickering electronics, the resonance with the signal. You activated the seed, Caliph said softly, when you were dying. 6. The choice. Helios Array was in chaos. Earth Command had dispatched a fleet. They assumed hostile intent. You must come with me, Caliph said. Why? Your presence destabilizes both our peoples. Because I exist? Because you are proof. Proof that humanity had been influenced, modified. If Earth learned the truth, panic would spread. Conspiracy theories, religious upheaval, political chaos. And if the Vayari confluence saw humanity as unstable hosts for their genetic legacy, war. I won't abandon my species, I said. I do not ask you to, Caliph replied. I ask you to understand it. A holographic projection bloomed between us, maps of neural pathways, genetic overlays. The Vayari seed within me wasn't meant to dominate. It was meant to evolve. You are a bridge, Caliph said, between biological and energetic consciousness. I laughed weakly. That's a lot of responsibility for one person. You are not alone, Caliph said. The projection shifted. There were others, scattered across Earth, dormant. I felt a strange mix of relief and dread. So what now? I asked. You choose, Caliph replied. Remain silent and let fear dictate the future, or awaken fully and show both species what we could become. 7. Awakening. The fleet arrived within hours. Terran cruisers surrounded the alien vessel. Unidentified craft, Earth Command broadcast, power down and prepare for inspection. Weapons charged. Caliph looked at me. If they fire, we will defend. And destroy them? If necessary. I closed my eyes. The resonance inside me was no longer subtle. It was waiting. "Help me," I said. Caliph stepped closer, placing a luminous hand over my chest. Energy surged through me, not painful, but expansive. The chamber dissolved. I stood in open space, no suit, no station. Stars stretched infinitely in all directions. And I felt them, not as distant lights, as currents, threads of energy connecting systems, species, minds. The Vayari seed wasn't foreign. It was amplification. Human consciousness extended. When I opened my eyes, I was back in the chamber. But something had changed. The fleet's targeting systems flickered. Not disabled. Paused. I reached outward, not physically, but energetically. To the ships. To the crew inside. Fear. Confusion. Duty. I didn't override them. I resonated. A single message pulsed through every Terran vessel. "We are not your enemy." No compulsion. Just clarity. Weapons powered down. 8. The truth revealed. There was no hiding after that. Earth demanded answers. So did the Vayari confluence. I stood before both delegations in a joint transmission chamber. "I am not an invasion," I said. "I am evolution." I explained the dormant seed, the activation, the potential. Some called it contamination. Others called it destiny. Caliph remained beside me, not as a captor, but as witness. This was never meant to control humanity, they said, only to observe its growth. "And now?" Commander Sato asked. "Now," Caliph replied, "we see you are capable of surpassing us." Silence followed. Not fearful, thoughtful. Earth's leadership faced a choice: condemn the Vayari for interference, or embrace the knowledge offered. After days of debate, they chose the latter. Carefully, cautiously, collaboratively. 9. The alien who discovered my secret. Weeks later, I stood once more aboard Helios Array. The alien ship remained in orbit, but no longer as a threat. As a partner. Caliph joined me at the viewport. "You feared what you were," they said. "I still do," I admitted. "Why?" "Because power changes people." "Yes," Caliph agreed. "It reveals them." I looked at the stars, at the invisible currents humming between them. "I thought my secret would isolate me," I said quietly. "It did not," Caliph replied. "It connected you." They were right. My secret had never been a curse. It was a question waiting to be answered. Humanity was not diminished by the Vayari seed. It was challenged, invited. We were no longer just observers of the cosmos. We were participants in its deeper architecture. And I was no longer hiding. The alien who discovered my secret did not expose me to destroy me. They revealed me to transform us all. As the Helios Array resumed its scan of the stars, I felt the resonance gently humming beneath my skin, not as anomaly, not as threat, but as promise. The universe had been whispering for centuries. Now, finally, we were listening.